So, a very good afternoon to all of the students of SCAP Center for Competitive Examinations, and I am here considering the system modeling aspect of a question. How we will model the system according to our given criteria. How we model the system according to the basic laws of physics that deals with the calculation of various kinematics and kinetics of the system, and in that perspective I am here to solely put your consideration towards a question that is given to me on my mail. The question is on the basis of a pulley. The pulley is you are seeing the pulley. The pulley has a certain mass m. Actually, this is a cylindrical pulley, uniform cylindrical pulley. The question given is that we have a uniform cylindrical pulley of mass m, caps lock M, of radius r, can freely rotate about a horizontal axis O. This is the horizontal axis O. The pulley is like this side. This is the horizontal axis O, and about this axis O the pulley is rotating. The pulley can rotate about this axis, and that's why it is called here that the pulley can freely rotate about a horizontal axis O. The axis is horizontal like that. Free end of a thread is tightly wound over the pulley, around the pulley. Wound on the pulley means that is the thread is wound around the pulley in such a way that it carries a weight ma. This is a weight ma at in a general condition. The condition prescribed here in the next line, that at a certain angle alpha, if a point mass has been attached to the pulley, stick to the rim of the pulley, then at a certain angle alpha, stated angle alpha, the whole arrangement is in equilibrium position. The question is saying that when a small point mass, you have to very much considerable about a point mass. This is a point mass m. This is a point mass m, and this point mass is attached to the rim of the pulley, and this thread goes from there and attached to a dead mass ma, bounded over the pulley with the means of a thread. The question is stating that, and at which angle this arrangement is on the static equilibrium. It is at alpha angle given. The whole arrangement is in equilibrium at an angle alpha given. This is a very important consideration to be done here, that the angle alpha is some sort of that angle on which the point mass, if attached at that position over the rim, then the mass ma, that is on the gravitational pull of the earth, will be in equilibrium position. The whole arrangement will be in equilibrium position if the point mass m, small m, is at angle alpha on the with respect to the origin of the pulley. If the O is the axis of rotation of the pulley, and angle alpha has been made with the if we slightly draw the center of if we slightly draw a line from the center to the base, and we move an angle, we rotate by an angle alpha, that point mass has been stick to that position, then the weight ma would be at the equilibrium position. The whole system will be at the equilibrium position. The main concern here is of angle alpha. That's why I am just notifying it repeatedly. The question then asks that find the frequency of small oscillations of the arrangement. The frequency of small oscillations of this arrangement. Obviously the thing is that when this arrangement is in equilibrium position, that means at an angle alpha, if the point mass is there, then the whole system is in equilibrium. Obviously the system will oscillate if and only if we will give a certain rotation. We will certainly disturb this angle alpha by certain angle. So in the second case, during the evaluation of our during the evaluation of our frequency, we are disturbing the system by a slight angle theta, so that this system can rotate, this system can set up in a non-equilibrium position, and then we have to calculate the frequency of oscillation. I am just clearing the scenario, the feel of the question. I am just clearing the feel of question repeatedly. You have to be very much conscious about that. We are the first condition says that when the system is in equilibrium, if the point mass m that has been stick to the rim of the cylindrical pulley at an angle alpha from the vertical, then the mass MA arrangement M and this M are in equilibrium position. That is, the net torque about the point O should be 0. And if we have to calculate the oscillation, the frequency of oscillation when this system has been disturbed to a certain angle. Then how can we disturb a system? Obviously, we can rotate the system by a certain angle, so that the whole of the system configuration changes and the system goes into the equilibrium position. In the second case, you can see here, in the second case, I am just disturbing this alpha by an angle theta. The alpha angle, previously when the system is in, when the point mass m made with the vertical axis, the angle alpha, then the system is in equilibrium position. I am just disturbing it by slight angle theta, moving it clockwise, so that the system goes in equilibrium position, unstable position, so that the system will oscillate, and we have to calculate the frequency of oscillation there. This is the thing. Now, again considering the question, how we will solve that, the important point here, and then how can we calculate the frequency of oscillation? First we have to calculate the angular acceleration. When we got a relation between the angular acceleration and displacement, then this can lead to a numeric value that can calculate the frequency of angular frequency of the oscillation. This should be the student should be very careful about the fact that we are here considering the angular acceleration of the system, and from the relation that we will derive from the angular acceleration and angular displacement, from that relation we will derive the equation of angular frequency of vibration and angular frequency of a small oscillation of the whole system. Then have a look. This is a very not a very typical problem, but a very conceptual problem. I have got a request from by the mail through a candidate from the Assam, and it's very honor for me to discuss this kind of question between us, so that a student apart from that who has asked the question can be benefited with the concepts that contain these kind of questions. We can start the question now. We can start solving the question. This is a very simple question, nothing to worry about, but just concentrate on the methodology, what kind of methodology we are adopting. The first thing, we have take the torque about the point O, because in the case 1 the system is in equilibrium position. That is case 1. In the case 1, the system is in balanced situation. Since the system is in balanced situation, hence the net torque about the point O should be 0, and that will be very much considerable, and we can get a very clear equation from that. Taking the torque about the point O initially, that's why I have written it initially. We have taken as general phenomena, general notation, that torque about anti-clockwise torque I have taken as positive, while as clockwise torque I have taken as a negative. You can take it vice versa, nothing will be changed. I have just followed an international convention that calculation of torque, anti-clockwise torque is considered at positive, and a clockwise torque I have considered as negative. The thing is, now that take the example of MA here. When we take the torque about the point of the mass MA about the point O, then we get a clockwise torque. That's why I have taken as negative here. MA into G, that's the mass, and F, that is the F. This is actually torque. What is torque? Torque is equals to F into D. So that is the F and that is the D. Okay? We have taken the torque. We can write torque is equals to F into D. Torque is equals to force into displacement. So ma is the force and displacement will be the r, simple r, because r is the radius of the disc given. So ma g into r. This is the anti, since the clockwise, the torque will be the clockwise. That's why I have taken negative here. Then anti-clockwise torque of the point mass m, small m, that is ma into g. But here not r, but r sin alpha. That why r sin alpha? We have break down the r into this resolution components, r cos alpha and r sin alpha. Then we have taken, since the point mass m will take the horizontal component that makes it with the axis of the rotation. That's why I have taken the r sin alpha, because r cos alpha aligns with the vertical direction on which the alpha has been taken. That's why I have taken the r sin alpha as a distance or displacement, we can say, in the calculation of torque for point mass m. That's why I have written there. You can see here that I have written r sin alpha here. That's why you can see there I have written r sin alpha here, because r sin alpha is the horizontal component that measures, that forms the effective torque of the point mass m with respect to the origin. Okay, then mg r sin alpha is there, is equals to 0, because net torque about the point O should be 0. One thing to note here is that we have not taken any measure or any calculating equation for the disc m on which these kind of things are happening. We have not encountered anything of the mass caps lock m. Why? Because torque is calculated on the origin O of the axis of that cylindrical pulley. So the torque of this pulley, torque itself of this pulley about the point O should be 0, should be neglected, because we are calculating the torque on this cylindrical pulley, hence no encounter of the mass m, this mass m, mass of the pulley, on this equation in case of balanced torque. Now when we see these condition in case of unbalanced situation, then we will see that the caps lock m, that is the mass of the pulley, will be encountered there. Then in the second case, from that equation, from as net torque, I have written is also that the net torque about the point should be 0 to maintain equilibrium. That's why I have taken at 0. Okay, the net torque anti-clockwise plus clockwise torque should be equals to 0. Now from this equation we get ma is equals to m sin alpha. This is our deduction from the first equation, and this deduction is very important deduction that's used for calculating the final angular acceleration. The term that we got about the angular acceleration from where we calculate the angular frequency. So there is the ma is equals to m sin alpha we got from this torque about the point O when we are considering the balance situation of the pulley. Now in the second case, we are just displacing by an angle theta more. We are just displacing our system by an angle theta apart from the angle alpha, so that our system will reaches unstable from the stable condition. That's why I have written here that it is an unbalanced situation. That is an unbalanced situation, because we have till angle alpha is there for point mass m, it counterbalances the mass ma, dead mass ma. But when we slightly move angle theta apart from alpha, then the system will reach a unstable state. The system is reaching an unstable state. Now we are taking the torque about the point O. Again take the torque about point O. Now we are not here considering that the torque about the point O will be considered as 0, because here the system reaches an unstable equilibrium. Unstable here, the system reaches an unstable position. Sorry, not an equilibrium, but an unbalanced situation. Here I have written that unbalanced situation. Since the system is going from balanced to unbalanced situation, here we can't say that the torque about the point A should be net 0. That's why I have used a second term. Now we have countered the pulley by an angle theta clockwise direction. I have just assumed a clockwise direction. You can you may assume it in anti-clockwise direction also. But let we have considered a clockwise direction. The result will be same. You can try it at home. Now taking the torque about the point O, again we have taken, then the changes that appear especially at the angle when we use for the point mass m, we will consider the distance r sin alpha in the previous condition, but here r sin alpha plus theta, because now the angle m makes with the vertical axis will be alpha and alpha plus theta. That's why I have taken here is alpha plus theta, not alpha but alpha plus theta. Why? Because in the previous condition only alpha angle is there. Now we have changed our situation from the balanced to unbalanced by moving some more angle than alpha, that is theta. So hence now the displacement of this point mass for the torque calculation will be r sin alpha plus theta. You can easily understand it from the figure also. Now therefore nothing will change for the mass ma. Nothing will change for the mass ma. Minus magr as clockwise. That is the counterclockwise, and mgr sin alpha plus theta is equals to minus I into theta, because one more definition of torque is equals to torque tau is equals to I into alpha. You have read very much about torque tau is equals to I into alpha. Alpha is the angular acceleration. I have not used alpha here because alpha is given in the question as an angle. That's why I have taken as theta double dot, angular acceleration. The terminology is same, but the notation is certainly different. You can easily read that torque, another definition of torque is equals to I into alpha, where alpha is the angular acceleration and I is the moment of inertia. Another definition, apart from tau is equals to f into d, apart from that definition, tau is also a definition, torque is equals to I into alpha, where I is the moment of inertia, alpha is the angular acceleration. I have not mentioned alpha here because alpha is given as an angle here. So that's why I have I into theta. Now why minus sign is there? Minus sign is there because this acceleration of that disk on which this motion is performing, it's moving in the clockwise direction. Since it is moving in the clockwise, hence taken the torque as negative. As we have following the standard convention that the anti-clockwise torque has been taken as positive, while clockwise as a negative. That's why minus I into alpha. From this equation we can calculate theta double dot. But wait a minute. The thing is that you can say very maturely that in the calculation of the moment of inertia of the whole system is there. We have to calculate the moment of inertia of the disk cylindrical pulley plus moment of inertia of the point mass m plus moment of inertia of the dead mass ma. That's why I have taken this thing. This is the moment of inertia of the disk about the center of axis, about center axis, mr square by 2. Not a disk, pardon, it's a cylindrical pulley. Moment of inertia of the cylinder about a point of axis of rotation, mr square by 2. Plus mr square, that is the moment of inertia of the point mass, and that is the moment of inertia of the dead mass ma. That is elongated over that thread or the free end. Okay, this is the important thing that you have to consider around. That we have to calculate the moment of inertia of the system. That's why angular acceleration of the system has been considered, has been calculated, and from that theta double dot we can find this value after solving this. But wait a minute, one thing, when you solve this equation, this is our second equation. When you solve this equation, then certain consideration have to be done. The question is saying about the small oscillations. This not on a damping effect. If we encountered here, might be possible that large oscillations or damping might be possible here, that can occur. But we have to find the frequency of small oscillations, and since the term small has been given, this is a precise meaning. On the basis of small oscillations, we will consider here that sine theta to theta and cos theta to 1. This is a general topology. When we take the small oscillation or theta has been considered very small, then sine theta converges to theta and cos theta converges to 1. That's we will put there in this equation, sine theta to theta, cos theta to 1, and ma is equals to m sine alpha, so that ma term can be eliminated. That's the reason here that the mass of the ma has not been seen here anymore. That's from this from these two first, from this first and these conditions putting on this equation, we get this angular acceleration term. Theta double dot, that is the angular acceleration, is equals to this term into angular theta, that is the angular displacement. This is the angular displacement by we have displaced by an angle theta. And when we got this equation of the angular acceleration versus angular displacement, then we can easily calculate, you can see here, you can easily calculate, you can easily be seen here, then we can calculate the required angular frequency. The required angular frequency can be calculated by the root, by taking the square root of that. The square root of that has been taken, hence the angular frequency has been determined. Okay, this is the thing. So nothing much in question, but simple to configure about that, what has been asked and what has been done to solve our question. I'm just concluding with that. We have in the question we have a pulley, that is a cylindrical pulley of itself mass m. A thread has been attached to the mass, is wound around that pulley, and a dead mass ma has been attached to that, and other end has been attached to a point mass m. The system is in equilibrium position when this point mass m attached to the rim of the cylindrical pulley rely on an angle alpha with respect to a vertical axis. Only at alpha situation the whole system is in equilibrium position, and for the small oscillation to occur, we have displaced this angle alpha by an angle theta. We have displaced some angle theta more than alpha, that from in the clockwise direction to disturb the system, so that the system will do a oscillation, and we have to calculate the frequency of that oscillation. That's why we have in the first position, when the system is in equilibrium position, we have taken the talk about the point O, that should be net zero because the system is in equilibrium position. Then we have displaced the whole system by an angle theta more than alpha, so that the system considerate to the unbalanced situation, and from that we calculate again, take the torque about the point O. Then we use the two fundamentals of the torque. First is F into D, and second is on the form of moment of inertia, that is I into alpha. And from that relation we have calculated the angular acceleration. We have concluded over the calculation of the angular acceleration with respect to angular displacement, and from there we calculate our angular frequency by taking the under root of the value that comes in between the angular acceleration and angular displacement. The important thing here is that since the rotational motion is there, the frequency of oscillation that has been asked is as the angular frequency that has to be mentioned. This is a very important thing that has to be considered for a candidate. The frequency that here has been asked is the frequency of oscillation, will be the angular frequency of the oscillation, that can only be found if we calculate a relation between the angular acceleration and angular displacement. That's why we have more considered over calculation of the angular acceleration in the form of angular displacement, so that by taking the under root of the value that comes in between, we can calculate the required angular frequency. Any kind of problem, any kind of conceptual differences, any kind of problem in the solution of this question can be highly entertained if you mail me at my mail address. The mail address has already been available in the previous videos of the SCAP Robotics Center. So you can here, the first thing you have to solve before solving this question, a candidate should approach that what is given and what has to be found. So that's why I have just mentioned in the first condition that what we are given, we have MA, M, MR alpha, so that we will very much considerate about a condition, about a solution, that a solution that comes after our calculation should be in terms of these quantities, because these quantities are given. We must assure that we have to assure that the solution that comes after our taking different methodologies, different formulas, after implementing different formulas, the output that is coming should be in terms of maximum, in terms of these kind of variables, not in any much quantity like t, small t, and so much of thing. So we have to very much considerate about the thing that the outcome which we generate after implementing various laws over this question should be restricted to only these variables that are already given in the question. Not any unrecognized variables should come in between after the deduction of the equation. That's why we have when we have solved the question, all the terms here that has been acquired here will is containing the terms that are already given, not any unknown term. Okay, that's the thing. Any problem arises in the solution can be highly entertained. Okay, you can mail me, you can WhatsApp me. Anything that is not will not be understandable by you during this course of lecture. And thank you for being with me.